Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Good
Happy
morning.
freaking Monday on this cold ass, stupid, cold weather, idiotic. I hate the cold, Monday.
Also, Happy New Year.
Happy
Oh yeah,
New
Happy
Year.
New Year. I mean, there could be some positive, fluffy stuff in here, but
I think it's
walked
actually
my-
colder in Texas than it is here in Michigan, which is crazy.
Dude,
It is, and that is fucked up, Barty.
Sorry.
I walked the dogs. It said 19 degrees out. Feels like 7 degrees.
Yeah. When I woke up, I looked at it to see what it was going to be today. It said it felt like 4.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't do anything. No.
no, just
The world should
absolutely.
shut down at that point. It is too cold to think.
Yeah, so all you cold weather people, Yankee northern living people, come get your damn drunk ass cold weather and take it home, would you?
Take it home.
I am in a motorhome. These are not built for cold.
No.
I am freezing.
So true.
I mean, Peyton, you could drive somewhere warmer. I mean, that
I
is
could just go
true.
more south. That's all I can do. I'm like a goose. I'll just fly south for the winter. That's what I'll do every year.
Oh, we're gonna call Peyton the Snow Bunny. That's so sweet.
I don't like that.
His
All
pasty
right.
white skin, it makes a bunch of sense.
Thanks, guys.
Have you
No.
guys seen this new Gemini 2.0 launch? Holy shit, it is absolutely the most insane AI I've seen so far. Literally, you can now share your screen with Gemini and hey Ash, and you can say, I'm trying to do this, and you get an AI person back with you, walking you step by step how to do things. Like I'm building out an Airtable right now, and it's like talking to customer service, and it's walking me through step by step how to build this stuff out because it can see my screen and tell me where to click, what to do next. It is fucking insane.
Wow.
Yeah, the people just better get good at AI really fucking quick.
It makes me feel like a genius because I've been using it all weekend on Zapier and Notion boards this weekend. So it's pretty awesome.
It really is. I mean, it's like you're having a mentor over your shoulder telling you what to click and what to do. And it's talking to you real time because I'm just talking in the mic and it's talking back. I mean, and it's fucking free. Insane what it's able to do. A little bit
One more time.
it's the new Gemini from Google. They just launched it out. So it's like geministudio.google.something. And it is absolutely redonkulous what it can do.
Yeah, I'll have to check into it because Zapier has been kicking my ass, Jessica. I've been trying.
I was going to make a bad joke about Ashley talking about 10 inches, and then Peyton says that. So
I was surprised nobody picked up on the 10 inches joke earlier.
I know. I tried to put it up there, and Donnie goes, "Hey, Ashley." I'm like, he didn't fucking read that. There's no way in hell he did
I
that.
did, but I've been so geeking out on this damn Gemini thing, that it blowing my damn mind.
Yeah.
So, but it's wild. But not, and then
To be honest, so would 10 inches, but
10 inches, dude. If you've ever seen the show Spartacus, those are all prosthetics. That's all I gotta say.
You know what? Why don't we just go this route for Stevie's last show the whole time? We'll just keep going.
So, we
Ashley's
should get
just
her a
getting
new
ready, man.
keychain.
She's
Let's get
getting
her a new
ready.
keychain. Softball. Too damn funny. So, but yeah, so you guys know this will be Stevie's last show. She's going to take on the world of impressing the youth of tomorrow. And I can't think of a scarier fucking person to be teaching our future
Really scary.
than Stevie. That worries me a little bit.
It
So,
does.
but you'll still see her around at the Badass Business Summit. Hopefully, if she'll come slumming with us enough. No, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I plan to do all the things. I just won't be here every Monday because they have me teaching a class at 8 a.m. And can we just talk about no college student wants to take a class at 8 a.m. anyway. So I don't know why I'm teaching this class, but anyway, that's where we're at.
I'm looking forward to the day that I sneak onto campus and just like randomly pop up in the back of your classroom and fucking heckle.
I love it. Come play. We're gonna have a blast. I'm so excited.
Donnie, if you're not here on one of the Monday lives, I'm gonna come find you.
That's it.
We
Whatever
just
it
need
is.
a
That
full
far away.
show to her class.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we got to do is, guys, you want to see what your future really looks like and how fucked up it is? We're going to bring a live show of a bunch of morons play in front of the class. Yeah, Kevin,
Kevin.
screw all that. That's just too damn
No, it's too cold, Kevin. We don't like it.
No. All right, P, roll that damn. And since I
So-
didn't start the meeting this past week, I have no idea what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, you are completely in the dark, which is my favorite
that
place. to keep you.
Actually make any difference in this case?
No.
Nope, won't make
Okay.
any difference at all. So
Got
this one I actually got a bunch of comments on, and it was the game where all the words are just like in pieces of pictures and puzzles, so you have to try and figure this out. People seem to love this one. All of our
Forgive and
viewers here, so I
forget.
brought it back. Say it again.
Forgive and forget.
That's the one.
In my head, I was like the 5 G's: give, get. Oh.
That's real close, but no, Donnie, you're wrong again.
Head
That's for cover.
Head for cover. Yeah. See, these ones are easier than the last ones. We're
Red in
waking
the
up.
face.
Red face.
Red in the face.
Red in the face.
Trial by error.
No, but that's a good
that-
guess. I like
yeah.
where your head's at.
Trip.
So trail is the one that's underlined. Trail is the actual word of it. And it's just jumbled up.
Taylor Trail. I don't know.
This is like
Mixed up or
a snack. I would say it's a snack.
trail
It's-
mix.
Trail mix.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
a stretch. That was a stretch.
That
Okay.
took more than it should have, to be honest.
That's fair. I know.
Rest assured.
You're under arrest.
Oh, you're
Under
under
arrest.
arrest.
We're under arrest.
Very good,
You're
Jessica.
under arrest.
Serena was so confident. Rest assured. She was coming at it, man. Ace in the hole.
Ace in the
Ace in the
hole.
hole.
Ace in the hole. Let's see. Did I? Yeah, I skipped one.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
Wow.
Serena's
Wow,
not allowed to-
Serena.
Serena?
Serena's not allowed to play
Wow.
this game anymore. I'll remember that in the future.
Capital punishment.
Capital punishment.
Wow.
Good.
There's no thinking between all of you until somebody says the word, and then everybody goes, "Oh yeah, I see it." Nobody's
I was-
thinking at all.
Penis punishment, and that wasn't going to work.
Good call. Keep that one in your head, Donnie.
Damn it. Out loud voice.
The
Yep.
6 feet underground.
underground. Yeah.
6 feet underground. Yeah.
Feeling
Feeling under the weather.
Feeling under the
There we
weather.
go.
Wow.
Yeah, right. We're flying through these ones.
Took a
Too
second to
big
ignore
to
you.
ignore.
What'd you say, Donnie?
Took a second to ignore you.
No. Too big to ignore. Yeah, you're right.
You must get here. It says it. No?
No.
Oh, Three Musketeers.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh,
One of those. It
nice.
was so much easier whenever Genevieve was next to me and she goes, "There's 3 must get here's." And I was like, 3 musketeers. Oh my God, you said it. This is the last one.
Easy on the eyes.
Easy on the
Aw.
eye.
Ah, very good.
There we go.
I mean, I heard that about me my entire life. So
No,
that
there's
one
no
I
chance
get.
in hell.
That was easily understandable.
Not a chance in hell. All right.
Hey,
Moving
those were
on,
way
then.
too easy, obviously, for us.
Yeah, apparently. I was thinking we
Yeah.
were going to be more asleep, but apparently the cold woke us all up.
We're all
So now
awake.
we're
I
awake
don't
for
know
this.
about that, but
That's the thing. I can never gauge where y'all are going to be in the morning. Sometimes my games are really hard. Sometimes the games are way too easy. Y'all need to figure out a baseline, and then I can stick it.
Peyton, let me ask you this. Was it easy for you? Were those
Yeah.
easy for you?
It here and there. Some of them were harder.
Okay.
3 musketeers was harder.
Okay. I just mean maybe that's what you need to think about. It's like if it's hard for
If
you,
I'm
it might
smarter
be
than Donnie
for us,
is what I need to think
vice
about.
Oh
versa.
no, that's a given. That's a
If
given.
I'm smarter than Donnie. All right,
That's a
cool.
that's a low bar. That's a low bar. Street smarts I got for days. For days.
Uh-huh.
So all right. Well, let's make fun of Sarena. I mean, roll that footage.
This is Sarena Diamond, CEO of the Diamond Solutions Group. With over 30 years of experience in business transformation, Sarena specializes in organizational change management based on analytics, industry best practices, data-driven measures, and market insights. Diamond Solutions Group helps businesses turn what if into way to go. And today, Sarena gets the hot seat with the Success Champions team.
All right, I'm stoked to have Sarena here. Like, yeah, Peyton's actually doing something decent with those. That's
That
the only
was
thing he
really
does good,
awesome.
right? Like, so, Sarena, if you ask politely, he'll cut that for you so you can have it for your website. So,
That's fantastic. Love that.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarena. You haven't missed too many of these Monday lives.
I have not. I stumbled upon them after the Badass Business Summit for the first time, and I think I've missed 2 since September. And as I was telling the group early on, I've learned something every single time, even if it's not exactly aligned to my business. Something that you guys offer up is applicable, and I
Dropping
have loved
nuggets.
That's
All
well.
of it.
Bernie got his sentence in there. It's like he was planning
See?
for that one.
I'm good
He had
now.
his-
I'm good.
He wrote it on a sheet of paper. I got to say, dropping nuggets at some point. I got it. So beautiful. Serena, introduce yourself and then tell us how the hell can we help you?
Thank you so much. Well, as Peyton did such a great job with my intro, after a 30-plus year in corporate America that really started in transforming client opportunities at Accenture, and then business operations through Pepsi, IT, on through IBM, and doing large global transformations there. I started my own company to help leaders take advantage of those experiences and to make change easier for them. So I've been in business for 2.5 years, just about almost 3. And really during that time, I have helped to transform workforce operations at a $1 billion healthcare company. I stood up an operational excellence and a new operations COO function at a $100 million professional services company. I've done a lot of different things, all leveraging that corporate career. One of the things that I got from my time at Badass Business Summit was really what it was I was looking to do, not next, but just incrementally. And it's really been focused on broadening impact. And so I've spent all of fourth quarter looking for new ways to broaden the impact, things that I could do. I've helped leadership teams with strategic planning initiatives. I've done training and workforce kinds of workshops. I have now, since the fourth quarter, and thanks to so many of the Success Champion Network members who cheered me on, I've been doing a lot of podcast guesting, which is fabulous, and I love it. And it was really Stevie. So Stevie, I know Donnie's going to be mad that I'm going to give you the it was really.
It's my last day, Serena.
I know. It's
Give
all
me
you.
a gift.
It's perfect time. The ability to be very intentional in my impact, because one of the things that I have had to do some really, really deep thinking about is, Donnie, you said it for one of the other guests before. Are you trying to create a really cool job for yourself or build a company?
Yeah.
And I've already built a company and rebuilt company organizations over and over again. And it's not about a job. It really is about having an impact in the world of leadership and helping leaders to develop. So what I'm really looking for is ideas and insights and ways to broaden my impact. And I know that Stevie's going to have a lot of opinions around creating those intentional stages, making more opportunities, but really hoping that you guys can help me to find new ideas, innovative ways to make more impact.
Can you put a definition to impact for me? Like
Yeah.
when you say that, what are you actually saying?
I want more leaders to either know from my lessons or be inspired to learn on their own, to have new and innovative ways to approach changes. Every single leader that I know that I've ever experienced, and it's hundreds in my career, are starting today, typically starts the point where they go, okay, I've got 2025 goals. And in some cases, they're overwhelmed already, right? They're already starting with, oh, how am I going to do this? My team isn't skilled enough. I don't have enough resources. I don't have whatever those things are. This is the time. And if they had deeper skills, of more, some cases it's a different toolbox, and in some cases it's a partner, right? But it doesn't have to be me showing up at every single client to have the influences and the learning. And what I've really focused on in the last 2.5 years has been those, typically it's small and medium business, because they don't have organizational change experience or resources available to them to draw on. So I want to increase my ability to help leaders know what they can do, when they need help versus when they can do it on their own, what other ways to learn and to grow.
So, what are all some of the things you're currently doing to reach a more massive audience? Because to me, ultimately, I hear the impact, but for me, it really sounds like it's how do I reach more people?
So I have, as I said, I have started with podcast guesting, and I'm in Podmatch. I'm in anybody that's doing a podcast that has something that's leadership oriented. I'm applying and doing my little pitch. And thanks and shout outs to all of the SCN members who have helped to refine some of those pitches and taught me better ways to have that conversation. Succinct, be brief, be brilliant, and be whatever, gone or something. But
Be gone. Just get the fuck out.
So guesting is certainly there. The hard part for me is that I recognize I am at the whim of, and appropriately so, when the host releases it. So I've done 10 interviews since the 1st of October that have not been released yet. And I no harm on, it's not my story, so I don't get to do that. And they're queued up. I see where they are in the calendar, but the impact hasn't hit yet. I have applied for, and I'm starting the process to be a Vistage speaker in hopes of being in front of CEOs that are looking to improve how they lead and build their skills. But again, a lot of times with Vistage at this time of year, they've already scheduled. The better leaders of Vistage groups have already got their speakers booked for, 3/4 of the year, if not the whole year. So that's not going to be quick. And I am a little impatient. So with myself, not so with clients.
I think that's a really important point, right? That we all get to as business owners, right? Is we want to control the schedule. Like, I want to make business now. I want to make money now. I want to have new clients now. And so kind of this idea of personal branding and awareness campaign through podcasts and all those kinds of things, there is some limitation to what you can do today. Today, I can apply for more podcasts, but right, I can't control when they come out. I can't control who says yes when they get recorded, those kinds of things. Like, even though I'm still going to have my business and still do speaking, I still have podcasts I recorded last year that haven't been published yet, right? So they're going to publish it and people are going to contact me and I'm going to be like, well, I have limited availability. So I think as business owners, we have to think about what can we control, right? So, and you already know where I'm going with this, right? Why aren't you creating your own stage? Why aren't you creating your own webinars? You can do that today, and that requires nobody else, right? So if you truly want to make an impact today, you have to control how you're getting in front of people and how you're bringing people to you. If you're always waiting for somebody to give you a stage, if you're always waiting for somebody to make you a guest, you're always going to be on their timetable. And that's always going to take longer because their emphasis is not on you. It's on them. So they're going to do it when they want to do it. Right. So I think we always want, personal branding wise, we always want the long game, right? We always want to have that going, the podcasting, the speaking, all of the things. But then you also need to be thinking about, what am I doing today that gets me in front of more people? And, and that could be anything, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, but you have to be doing something now. If you keep waiting for other people to give you the opportunities, you'll never make it on your timeline.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if you to expand a little bit more about the webinars themselves.
Yeah.
how you got started with that, or how you would suggest getting started. Because
Yeah.
I've done a few workshops. I'm part of the Chief Network, and I've
Mhm.
done a couple of workshops within that, which is, it's lovely. It's an opportunity to help those people, but it's a private network. It would be like doing, a teach moment in an SCN meeting. It's private.
Yeah, no. So for me, I do I mean, I haven't for the last little while because I've been working on other things, but I used to do one a month. And I mean, I hosted them. I didn't need anybody else. I just publicized them on LinkedIn, publicized them to my email list, publicized them to all my clients. And I would do a webinar each month on different topics, invite the world. And then my sales pitch was always, if you need this in your company, if you have an event coming up and you need a speaker, reach out to me. And that is literally the only thing I did for marketing for like the last 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
So-
that was enough. So
Something that I've figured out the hard way, Sarena, was when I launched my company, I was really well known around the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex in DFW, heavily networked. I mean, Elizabeth used to get frustrated. We'd go out to dinner and I'd run into somebody I know, type of thing. So what blew me away was when I launched my company and I thought I was going to be able to go get on the stages and start speaking and really put myself out there, is nobody knew who the fuck I was. Literally nobody outside of Fort Worth had a damn clue who Donnie Bovine was. So I realized that this was going to be the slog. So if I was going to get on stages, I had to do the things that would actually get me on stages. Like I had to go find places to speak. Then I'd have to figure out how to submit to go speak on those stages. And in doing that, it was such a frustrating and rough process to go through all of that work. It's time consuming as fuck. I said, screw it, and started building my own. So like Stevie, I started building my own workshops, my own webinars, my own stages. I mean, the Badass Business Summit became from all that. And it's wild, the more that you build your own things versus waiting on others, that it's kind of the field of dreams. I'm going to build up my personal brand through doing my own workshops, webinars, and the likes, and people are going to come. And just for a timetable, it took 9 months of showing up daily on LinkedIn before the first company reached out to ask me to come speak to their sales team on networking. Right.
Wow.
So it's putting together kind of a game plan, an action plan that puts you really as the face of the company. And we're now running workshops every other week on LinkedIn as our primary, because you can invite 1,000 contacts, every week to a workshop for free. So,
Wow.
but you got to look at it. And I don't remember who first said it, but it's almost like looking at yourself and going, how do I become a celebrity? And it's, if you think about it, and as somebody had said that to me, I started thinking about somebody like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Not that I'm on par with him by any stretch of the imagination, but if Dwayne's going on the Tonight Show, right, he's live on Instagram going, look, motherfuckers, I'm about to go blow it up with Jimmy. Y'all better come follow me over there. And he's instantly moving a whole entire audience live from Instagram to late night. And he's built this entire influence of people. So the field of dreams is you build a following of people. That following then helps you get all the other things that you want to get.
And then I would add on to the backside of that. So as you're putting yourself forward, what are you doing on the backside to make yourself more accessible? Because you, as a fractional, you are selling your time. Well, you only have so many hours in the day. How else can you put yourself out there? One of the things you said earlier was a toolkit box. Can you put use a lead magnet from your workshops to get people to your toolkit box? And sell those as a smaller ticket item to lead them into when they actually need your services at a higher ticket price.
That's a good idea. That's an option, because lots of times I'll have clients that say to me, I can't afford your daily rate. And it's so funny because I want to say I'm sorry. And then I want to say, I'm not sorry that you can't afford my daily rate, but I can prove to you the ROI of investing in me with your business. But a toolkit I give away. To your point, I've got a few templates that I've had smaller companies or startups that I've just said, here, try this. Here, try this. But I love that as an offering,
Mhm.
and I hadn't done something with.
Well,
that
you just said a
before.
lot in that statement. If people that you're talking to about your services are telling you that they can't afford it, you're talking to the wrong people.
Wrong people.
Right. So you come from working with billion-dollar companies, $100 million companies, talking to solopreneurs and even small mid-market companies, they're never going to be the people that are going to hire you.
Nope.
Right. So you got to start thinking about, how do I use the network I have to get connected to other people that are dealing with companies of that size? And how do I get back into that world and back into that environment? What we often don't understand is the people that we can get connected to in networking, they're going to be selling at a certain level. Some are going to be selling to your solopreneurs, your entrepreneurs that are just starting out. Some are going to be starting to your small businesses. Some are going to be mid-market. Some are going to be your enterprise level. Like, so how do you get connected to people that are selling at that enterprise level that can help get you into the door to companies that your daily rate is freaking joke to them? Like, it's not even something they would see on their P&L. Right.
That's a good point. What's funny is that I have said that I really enjoy working with mid-market level. Small, it depends on where you go down, but enterprise level, I've had a couple of gigs with enterprise level clients, and I sort of had the corporate trauma resurface a little and thought,
we all do.
Maybe I don't want to do that again. Depending on the organization and the culture of that organization. I've had a couple of larger mid-market company clients where they were really all about the culture, and they wanted to work on how do they change their organizational culture. And it's really interesting because a lot of people think change management is project management. And so I'm very specific when I talk about organizational change management, which is, you can take a project plan, but if you forget that there are people associated with it, and that getting the people over the chasm of change, it's crucially important. And that's the thing that makes or breaks a difference. There's 88% of all engagements, Prosky quotes, is 88% makes it, you can be successful, but only if you focus from an organizational change lens, not just a change management, right? Project planning which is what.
So is it just me, or do you guys hear it differently? I hear change management, and then I hear organizational change management. Organizational just sounds as like you're going after larger business to me. Is that just me, or is that a real thing?
It's a real thing. I think the idea is that there's an organizational level idea of how we're going to move through change and how we're going to manage people through change. Versus change management is usually more project management. Like, how do I get these people just to check off this new initiative? I think the issue, right, is that, to Donnie's point, people are going to hear organizational change management and they're automatically thinking really large companies, which, if that's who you're targeting, great. But also I would caution you, right? Change management is a hard gig, because what do we not want to do while we're going through change? Spend fucking money. Right? So the truth is, what you're trying to do is preventative. People don't pay to prevent. It's very rare that people pay to prevent, right? That's why cybersecurity people have so much struggle. It's a lot easier to sell somebody once they've been hacked than to try and prevent.
It's interesting. It's interesting, right? That's your perception, because I have had until fourth quarter of this year, I have been booked solid, sold out.
Not saying that you can't, but you have to be thinking about what are they booking you for and where are they at when they're mentally thinking about booking you.
Okay.
Right? Because
usually it's right. Usually there's
verbiage.
Yeah, it's your equivalent of hacking. I usually get called when things are a mess. The joke for a long time is I'm the Mikey of life cereal, right? It's not working.
That's really important to your branding, right? Because if I go to somebody and I say, well, I do organizational change management, and they're like, well, we're not really going through anything right now. Good. That's the time when you should hire me before it gets bad. But how are you messaging them to that? Because a lot of times that's what we see, is that people aren't taking it preventatively. They're taking it after they've already had problems. But then that means your marketing has to change.
No, that's true.
Right? Because your marketing needs to be about their problems then. If you're saying, well, people hire me when it's a mess, then let's talk about the mess.
Yep. Like Rebecca Prejean, she does a lot of neurodiversity training with because of her kid and his story, and she literally helps companies make sure all the training collateral is for a diverse, neurodiverse group of people. Cracker Barrel had a huge incident where they denied an entire school bus of disabled children to come in and eat at the restaurant. It was a huge mess. Rebecca reached out to me. She goes, "Should I say something to him?" I'm like, "Fuck yes, get in there." And so she started connecting with LinkedIn. And then she's like, "Oh my God, they have a director. They listed their numbers." She's now got a meeting with Cracker Barrel to go talk about this problem and issue. So for me, the perspective is if you're going to be the firefighter, which is one of the services you're basically selling, where do you find the fires?
Mhm.
Right. So do you set up a Google alert of, whatever the explosions happen that you go help put out those fires to pop up? And that's what I told Rebecca to do. So Rebecca's now got, these Google alerts set up for any time a company does something stupid like this, that she can start and has a game plan to go in and get her name in front of them. Because when you have a PR nightmare like that, they're looking for solutions. So what's your PR nightmare that might be put out there that you can jump in there and help with?
So it's so funny that you said that because I was just troubleshooting and talking with actually Jake Stone, one of the SCN members, about executive recruiting. And lots of times, and apparently right around that February timeframe when executive C-suite leaders get their bonuses, they issue their exit. See ya, right? Their resignation. And he will get called, right, to start the search for a new COO. And so we were talking about one of the things that I have done a couple of times I'm very good at and I love is that interim drop me in. I'll hit the ground running. I will hold your operations together and keep moving it forward while the CEO or the other C-suite team is looking for the next COO. And then I will help to transition to your eventual find very smoothly. And so he and I have been talking about ways to help position that from an executive headhunter service as a service for me. Now, it's funny because I said I was going to ask you guys about broadening my impact, and then I get really excited about the opportunity because that's a point at which the C-suite team they're dying, right? They're going, wait, what? And I've had 2 times in my org in the 2.5 years where the operations team, the C-suite team has come and said our COO has resigned. One retired unexpectedly for health reasons, and one resigned based on bonus. And I've loved helping because they're in that PR nightmare, right? The firefight. But I don't know how to make that.
So
I've got to figure out a way to.
I just went into LinkedIn, typed in COO, typed on jobs. There's 1,351 companies looking for a COO right now. That's a hell of a prospecting list. Now imagine taking that list back and going to your network and going, "Hey, I'm looking for connections in these companies. Anybody know?" Or clicking on these companies and see who's connected anybody in there, and then leverage to see how you can get your name in there, right? This is the things that always blows my mind. Being a sales guy for so many years, I naturally think of how do I find my people to call on, right? Who am I going to go after? And it's these little things like this that I don't think about. But anybody can go type in, what thing they're trying to do inside companies and figure out what role are they hiring for. I used to do this when I sold commercial printing. If they were replacing their vice president, director of marketing, odds are they were going to bring a new printer in, right? So that became the companies I called on, and generated a lot of business that way. So
it's funny, when I first started my company, I didn't rule out the possibility of going back to work if I couldn't make a go of it. So I kept using the power of and. I might have to do that. So I would also be looking for companies that were looking for jobs. And I had reached out to a couple of people like that, but I'd completely forgotten about it until you just started talking about that way. Because from a transition perspective, that's a really difficult place. You lose all of your momentum if you lose one of your C-suite unexpectedly.
Yep.
And the ability to keep momentum going, even if your organization just keeps going because they see that you're willing to invest in somebody to just be the spearhead for a period of time. I love that.
And my move was always, you can go back and pay $250,000 a year for a sales manager, vice president of sales, or why don't you just bring us in? We'll do the sales training for a quarter of that. and you land a lot of business that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because people have said to me, isn't this just a backdoor way of getting a job? And I keep saying, no. I have this weird little thing that I keep reminding myself is that with the exception of one client, every client that I've worked for, whether at my Accenture period, when I was a consultant, or in the last 2.5 years, I have one client that has not offered me a full-time job. And all the rest of them, they offer me a job. And I say politely all the time, I love you, but I'm not going to come work for you because I'm the shiny toy, right? I have external experience. I have things that but I'm not going to come work for you. So nobody has to think, oh, this is my backdoor way in of getting the COO job. I don't want to come work for a W-2 kind of gig again. I've done that. I really want to broaden the impact that my experiences can have on the rest of the world of business.
I think there's right, and I think there's also a really cool play with like Bernie's collaborative projects of who could you partner up with that could do combined workshops that's talking to this level of company and start speaking more on it. Like, what's your potentially weekly show talking with people at this level? What's your YouTube channel potentially talking to people at this level? You know, where are you teaching change management or operational change management on scale to reach a massive audience? You know, it takes time, but YouTube, I still think, is one of the most slept on platforms. You know, even with this show, we're up to almost 500 subscribers. You know, at 1,000 subscribers, we could start monetizing the show. It won't make much money, but there's an additional revenue play of continuing to bring more people on. So, but that's a play that's going to happen 4 or 5 years down the road if we continue doing this and continue showing up. It's probably going to help that Stevie's leaving, you know, but no, it's something to think about. Is where are you ultimately creating your platform?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good. So what Stevie's going to do is she's going to actually make it part of her curriculum as a requirement to be a subscriber, and that'll put you over the 1,000. Right
There you go. That's what I need, is me teaching a bunch of college kids. That'll be perfect.
Here's
Yes,
go
no,
home with
I'm
the
not
language.
letting him anywhere near my classroom. But I think one of the things that I would just say in all this, I think this is all great and you're headed the right direction. Language is going to be so important. And I think I would encourage you to think about where you're at now and where you want to be, right? Because if you are doing a bunch of webinars, a bunch of podcasts, and then you're doing a bunch of fractional work, you're going to run out of your time really quickly. And so thinking about, to Jess's point earlier, like, what are those other things, right? What are those other things you can monetize or put out there or do? Because that's going to be a part of this journey for you as you build. One of the number one things that I think entrepreneurs make the mistake of is building themselves to a point that then they have no time to do sales. They have no time to network. They have no time to prospect because they're too busy doing the actual work, right? If you have to decide how much of your time are you doing client work and how much of your time are you still marketing and doing those other things that you need to do, and you need to allow yourself time and space for that. And one of the big things for me that I had to think about as a speaker was my voice. If you're going to go and you're going to do a 2-day training, you got to also realize that that third day, you're going to need to not talk to a soul. So what do you lose in that, right? So you have to charge enough to make that 2-day engagement worth the fact that you miss a day of work. Yep. And those are things that you have to think about as you do this kind of work, because it's really easy to get into a point where you're just working too much and you're not going to have time to actually build the business that you want. And so I would encourage you to think about that impact past this, right? Courses, webinars, platforms, audiences, all of those things that you could do or put on revenue generating items that don't take your time every day. Right. So like one of the things I love is, even though I'm going this other path, luckily for me, I know Jessica and she made me an incredible new website. But also I'm keeping my online course. And my online course, that's just money that just comes to my mailbox, right? Mailbox money that I don't have to do anything for. And I still, when I go speak now, instead of saying, hey, if you'd like me to come speak, I push people to my online course. So I'm just taking my speaking engagements now, and instead of trying to duplicate speaking engagements, I'm using that as the key to get people to my online course. And that's a way that I'm going to continue to keep fresh and keep the business alive, even though my day-to-day will be focused on something else. So I would encourage you to think about that, right? What other programs could you have? What other offerings could you have? Yes, a lead magnet, and then a webinar to what sale? Because not everybody is going to be able to either A, afford you, or B, you're not going to have time to service everybody who wants you. So what do you do to help them out?
And then I would also add to that, on top of what other tools do you have? What things in what system can you build with what you do, so you can push things off of your plate? So you're the front side strategist person doing it out there, but you should have a system in place of, hey, this project is now here. Go please execute this for me and come back to me so I can deliver it to the client, kind of thing. So who do you need on your team to help you bring on as many clients as you can?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I've been looking for opportunities. There's a couple of people that I've worked with in my corporate environment who are really moving to go out on their own and want to do some of this. And I've been looking for ways to try and partner up, but this is a good opportunity because some of those.
License your curriculum, girl.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing. I've got a group together right now that's training in my curriculum, and then they're just going to pay me a lot of money every year to go teach.
Wow.
Easy way to do it.
That's what we need, a bunch of little mini Stevies running around. Christ, what's this world coming to?
Content. They have to do it on their own. I don't know that they're going to be like me, but they will at least have the knowledge because that's impact, right? Taking your knowledge, giving it to others, and having them implement it out. So be thinking about that, right? Everything you're doing right now, that's all content that you could create into curriculum and then sell.
That's a great idea.
I know.
That
I'm
is a
full
great
of those.
For once. Really lucky. Those
Only
students
because it's my last day, so I'm trying to make it as good as it can be. So then I can just be like, whatever. So
well, then you really need to up your game.
Steve, I'm wondering, in your course curriculum, is there a series of how to torture Donnie? Because I'm like all in on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We should start that.
I know.
We
did have that conversation once.
I have whole ideas on how we can torture Donnie more.
As long as I get royalties, I'm good. I just want royalties. I'll help sell it.
I like that plan. I like that plan.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, especially when we start out, we do one of two things. We either get this, let's save the world complex. Let's try and help everybody, which means we just try and sell a bunch of broke people, right? Two, we're so worried that we're going to end up back in the world we were leaving that we don't go after the deals that would make life just easy, because we're so worried that we're going to step right back into that political corporate nightmare that we left in the first place. I think what a lot of people don't get is when you come in from a more consulting role, at any point you can just tell them to fuck off and go about your way. Like, you don't have to eat shit like you did as an employee. Mm-hmm. It's your business, your time, you're running. So, and I learned this doing sales training, that if you set the stage early on in the conversation of what you're willing to do, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, and you're not reporting to them type of thing, and you really set those ground rules, then you can do all the things you did and enjoy and not have to deal with the political nightmare. So when you're going and talking to these bigger companies, you can go, oh, guys, I hear that conversation. I'm going to excuse myself to let you guys finish that conversation, because that's nothing I need to be a part of. Right. So you're not into that whole mess of let's see who's got the bigger dick and whip it out on the fucking table conversations. Right. Because that's what most of them are.
Right. Or in corporate speak, the first contract I ever had, there was a line in there that said, ultimately, you're a consultant, and we as a company don't have to take any of your recommendations. So I'm just making recommendations. To your point, I saw that and I was a little like heart hurt a little when I first got that. And then I was like, you know what? That's an okay thing, right? Because they are recommendations. I don't need to be part of your political nightmare and mess to be able to do that. Because on top of the fact that if I am, then I'm no longer effective because I need to be bringing that external level of visibility and vision that is not about whatever is the circle that you guys are all running around in.
Well, and let's be honest, there's nothing wrong with getting into a Fortune 5 and getting paid a good substantial money to show up just for a few hours a month, right? And your whatever they're paying you is going to be such a nominal thing, especially in this new climate we're fixing to come into, that they're going to be looking to throw a lot of money around. Getting in and getting paid very, very well to money they're never going to realize they're paying out to anybody. Take it. The opportunities are there, right? You're still going to provide real amazing impact, but you're not on the payroll. So you'll fly under the radar, especially the larger the companies. So there's companies that paid us for sales training that I guarantee that we worked with them, longer than initial contracts, mainly because they never stopped paying us. And we weren't going to bring up and raise our hand and say, hey, contract is ended, we're going to continue on. We were still getting them ROI. We were still getting them a ton of benefits. And it was really effective for us as they kept bringing on a lot of new and junior salespeople, which gave us a lot more opportunity to continue training. So the bigger the companies, the easier it is to hide who's paying you, how you're getting paid, and staying in for the long game.
Well, I tend to like to help the leaders recognize their ROI, even if they feel like it's long-term. I think I've had a couple clients that extended the contract a couple of times because they saw the benefit, and eventually they needed to deal with, what are we doing from a financial perspective? But I tend to be, it's a 6 to 9 month is pretty much my average. I've had a couple times where it was, we need to go a little further than this. We hadn't planned.
See, we started selling 2-year contracts. We wouldn't touch a company with less than 2 years because to change the sales culture, it's going to take a massive shift, because most times a salesperson was promoted to sales manager and has no idea how to fucking manage a sales team, right? So this is where we would come and play. Right.
And they thought that Donnie was a better option.
Yeah, that scares even me.
Just putting it out there.
Has Stevie left yet?
You got 12 more minutes of this.
Damn it, man. Damn. We're going to bring her back and put her in a hot seat. And her questions will be like, how do I work with these fucking kids? Right. But yeah, it's if we play a bigger game, the game gets easier to play because we understand the rules of the bigger game. If we play the small game, it's a lot more work because there's a lot more moving parts. In big companies, they'll tell you exactly what they need, what they want to do, how they move forward, and what they want to accomplish. And little companies are going to look at you like, I don't know. I have no fucking clue why. We don't understand why it's broken, why it's messed up. Just fix it.
So true.
Agree with that, but also within the big companies, make sure, since you are working with change, make sure you have those multiple touch points within the company. So if that one person does leave, you have your 3 or 4 other contacts.
Yeah, you want to have several champions, absolutely.
Yeah, that's not usually an issue. I usually within the first week, one of the things that people say all the time is, you become a we and an us in 5 days. Like I love that. I either work with people like that, or I get it like religion. I get their business like it's my religion, or it's not the right place for me. So I tend to get very close to my clients, so much so that sometimes it feels hard to leave for me, although they're ready. I keep saying I'm not building dependency, I'm building capability. So I won't stay, but I will want to stay just because I love working with the people that I work with.
Very
cool.
And I think enterprise level sales is actually an easier sale because you're going into a 2-year conversation to get the deal done. So there's less pressure of getting the conversation done right now. So you're going in because you're going to have to, as Bernie said, create all the champions and get all the people on board. But also think about a lot of the people that you're initially talking to. Nobody else is trying to sell them anything. You're talking to mid-market, mid-level, managers and stuff. Nobody's calling them trying to pitch them services like the higher up executives are getting nailed along the way. So it was like I could call into a sales manager of any company and they're going to answer the phone. I call the VP of sales and it was a little bit harder to get them on the phone. Called the CEO, almost impossible to get them on the phone. So if we understand who we're talking to inside the organization, we can start creating champions lower down and use them to build up versus where in small business sales, you're starting with the president of the company and hoping he can bring you down to the lower tiers to get the conversations going. So you can come at it for a completely different level. So, all right, girl, we've hit you with a ton of stuff in a short amount of time. Bernie's wisdom today, absolutely amazing.
Unparalleled.
He did a couple. He gave me a couple.
I heard him say champion, and so that was awesome. Well done, Bernie. But Sarena, I'm really curious some of the kind of takeaways from the day, how this went for you.
So it's awesome. One of the things when I first started my company, I used something that somebody gave me around the power of and, not or. It's all about and. And so you guys gave me more than 4, but 4 that I have noted in my, right? Creating my own stage, go out and do the webinars, workshop. I need to look to try and do some of that. And while I'm doing that, also going out and looking at that COO job list, those people where I could get connections to build my fractional business easier, and really looking at that game plan, right? How is I'm going to have that multi-pronged game plan? And then probably the thing that's going to allow me to sustain is the toolkit and the ability to provide offerings that will exist long after I'm not physically in the room. So I love all of this. Every time I do these meetings, every Monday morning, I leave with a list of things to go do, new ideas. So you guys have once again blown my head up beginning in the first quarter of 25.
Love it. Love it. We're going to cut those clips out and start using those to market these. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Happy to.
All right, guys, let's talk about upcoming events and the likes with workshops. So we're starting the year off strong. So I know we've got a bunch of workshops coming up. Oh, Bernie, do you have anything on the horizon?
I've got Disruptor Discussions starting back up again the week of the 13th with Jennifer Fry. So looking forward to season 2 with that. And then Allison Simmons, who was on last week, she's got an upcoming workshop on the 28th of January. So got a couple things coming.
I've got Forget Cold Outreach, Network Your Way to B2B Success coming up on January 10th. And then I've got Endless Stream of Referrals coming up on January 15th. Workshop coming up. Jess, do we have your workshop on the books yet?
No, not yet.
So y'all stand by as Jessica's going to start doing a lot more workshops. And I'm going to show up at those workshops and continue to make fun of her as she does the workshops because that's just fun to me. So we have those coming up. Stevie, when's your next play?
Next play opens February 7th. The FleetwoodProject.org. I also want to give again a shout out to Jess and her team who did an incredible job on our new website. And even though I may not be here every Monday, business is not gone. So please check out the new website, empathics.net. And don't be a stranger.
Stevie, thank you for everything, love. It's always a blast having you around. If you guys are looking for a nonprofit to donate to her, Jim, the Fleetwood Project. It's where all of our plays come from. And usually I get to be an extra on the shows when I do show up. So it's a really good time. But seriously, love, it's always a blast having you around. Love having you. Stevie's
Had to get one more in.
Today, that will be what I am remembered for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's okay. It's okay. You got to be remembered for something. So,
But Stevie, have fun inspiring those kids. I can't think of a better teacher for them. And I will at some point sneak into the college and sit in the back of your room and heckle my ass off.
Do it. We would have a lot to talk about. It'd be great.
So, guys, we're going to get out of here a little bit early, but have an amazing, awesome freaking start to 2025. It's going to be a hell of a year. I'm actually really excited for all the things that's going to happen and come. Small business is going to come back in a big way this year. I think the economy is going to take a huge swing upwards, and so I'm looking forward to that. So, Sarena, thank you so much for joining us. We're here every Monday, 8 a.m., putting somebody in the hot seat on Success Champions Live. Love you, mean it. See you, bye.